lost her job. Now she's not able to get work. So her kids aren't eating every night. So her kids are angry and they're coming to school pissed off. And they don't want to talk about what's 4 plus 4 because they're not eating. And like I said, but she's doing her best, to make them respectful. But they don't understand why they were eating last week and they're not eating this week. So it's like, and then so my mindset on that is there are people that have been trained and educated to deal with these things and they're not doing it properly. So and because a lot of them that are able or willing to do it properly aren't supported by a system that can consistently let them down over and over again, from the top down. So yes, there is some accountability from the parent side, but the system it does take accountability. You have to put some accountability in that system because it's failed our children over and over again, and we have we have to get out of this mindset. I'm not saying we don't, but we have been almost trained to be dependent upon the system, thinking that we should be able to send our kids to school and trust that they'll come back, a certain way. But yes, I do agree that we have to get out of that mindset. I do agree with Vanessa and Oma when they say that, but that's not an easy. Like I can't berate parents for not getting there or not being there right now. It takes a whole overhaul. That is systematic. It is completely systematic.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanna throw to the next video. But I hear what you're saying. That's there obviously that's happening more than more often than not. And so there's a lot of my friends. I mean, I lived without my parents. I was one of those students that, was living with my auntie or my grandmother. And so, there's a lot going on. There's always a lot going on. And I just think that's an interesting perspective. So let's hold on to that, but let's go to this next video and then we'll respond to that.
Imagine graduating high school with a 3.4 GPA, but you cannot read or write. You cannot read I am Sam, okay? You cannot even write your first name, which is a skill that's typically seen in children between the ages of 4 and 6. That's when they're able to finally achieve that goal, that milestone. But here you are at the big age of 18 and you can't even write your first name. That's exactly what happened to this boy in Tennessee. And guess what? He sued his high school. And guess what? The courts actually sided with him. So an appellate court actually sided with a Tennessee man, which in the documents is referred to as William A., who sued his former high school, graduating him without addressing his learning disability, right? And so he's seeking damages and proper education, because imagine being 18 and you cannot read or write. So according to the article, the district had given him an IEP. For those of you who don't know, that stands for Individual Education Program, right? And this is actually funded through our taxpayer dollars. This is supposed to be a program in which children who have learning disabilities, behavioral disabilities, any of those problems would receive extra one-on-one, you understand, teaching so that they could actually meet their goals, right? So it says that the district had given him an IEP saying that he had a learning disability and a language impairment, yet they never actually addressed any of it. Turns out he was dyslexic and they never acknowledged it. In the complaint that was put in motion by his parents, it stated that the district actually failed to make progress with the student and in fact watched him as he regressed.